Hello, superhumans. I'm Sally. This is Miracles of Consciousness Radio. I'm a QHHT practitioner and energy healer. And I am reviewing Billy Carson's video that is Prayer is Not What You Think by Billy Carson. And I will leave the link for the full video review without my encumbrance in the description box below. But as a QHHT practitioner, how much of this aligns with what he's saying and what we're hearing as QHHT practitioners, and specifically from my own clients who know nothing of each other? Well, how he says it in the very beginning can be a little bit abrupt. So with an open heart, you kind of understand what he's saying. But this video is not for everyone, meaning because of the way he presents it, it can be a little off-putting for those who are very entrenched into their ideas of how the universe, how they connect with their God source energy or religious beliefs. And how he says it can be a little bit off-putting. It almost comes across, in my humble opinion, you have to do your own due diligence, look at it and decide for yourself, let me know what you think. But it feels a little bit off-putting in that it's like, I'm commanding the universe to do my bidding, I'm God. And what he's really saying is we are all God, and that the heaven is within each and every one of us. So he really is saying what we've been taught by our gurus, Yeshua and Muhammad and all of those. He's really sort of saying the same thing. But what he's trying to do is tease out the man-made religion versus the spiritual truths. And at the end of the video, I'll give you some tips on how you can do that at home and put things in practice. But I'll get this started. It is a little bit harsh. I don't necessarily agree with how he presents it as a QHHT practitioner. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It actually might speak to you, but it may not. And I just want to caution those people who may be a little bit off-put. Try to get through this, because there is a thread that sort of makes sense, and we'll get to that at the end. But this is going to change your life if you can actually put it into practice. And again, like I said, if you can stay to the end, I'll give you some tips on how to do that. Let's roll the video.
When you pray, you're trying to cast a spell. Okay, I'm going to say that again. When you pray, you are trying to cast a spell. Anyone who's praying, that's what you're trying to do. You want to alter the future reality to benefit you in a way by uttering words. You want those words to go out and manifest a change in your reality that you so desire, whatever that desire is. Now, interestingly, there's rules to how this stuff can be done. And 90% of the people that are praying have no idea how to pray. So all that uttering that they're doing, all that begging and hoping and wishing and calling on names of deities have no power. Zero power. I mean, absolute zero. When you call on the name of Jesus, you're saying, "Hail Zeus," in ancient tongue. And Zeus is not going to bring you a damn thing.
So I'll stop it right there. So to put it into a little bit better context without seeming so abrupt, I mean, that's sort of how, maybe you don't, so that's okay. It's just some of us kind of feel that way. But hail Zeus and Jesus. Jesus, there was no letter to correctly spell Yeshua's name in ancient Greece. So that's why there was a name change for Yeshua. You know him as Jesus because that's what you've been taught, or what we've all been taught. And it's been that way since the translation from Aramaic. So his name, the one we call Jesus, that is his Greek name. And his name in ancient Aramaic is Yeshua. But they didn't have the J, so that's why he's talking about Zeus. So it truly does mean hail Zeus. You have to go back to the ancient languages to sort of make that connection. But I do get how that's a little bit off-putting for many of us who have a Christian belief system or kind of were raised that way with a certain knowledge of how it was said. So let's get on with it.
And so what happens is people get tricked because, oh, I prayed and I got this new house. Well, I got this new house and I didn't pray. I'm living in a 10,000 square foot house. I didn't pray for nothing. I commanded it, and guess what? I'm here. So was it Jesus, or was it my power, the power of the Spirit, the divine energy that already inside of me that got me this house? Is it just luck? What is it? How come I can drive out of my neighborhood and make a left and go down the street, and I can see somebody that prays every single day, 20,000 times a day, that's sleeping on the corner begging for change? They don't deserve a house. They don't deserve electricity and running water. They don't deserve to take a bath every day, but yet they're praying and calling on the same deity you're calling on. But you're saying, this deity gave me this house. Did he really? He? It's always a he, by the way. It's always got a gender. And so these gods that create universes have to be men. Do you see how foolish it is? How you pray is this. You command everything you want into existence, because the power and the divine spark that created everything in this universe is inside of your body.
We are actually taught this when you consider even just the Lord's Prayer. Through the we start it this way. You know, we always say, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Understand the difference. There is no, please, Lord, if you find us worthy, send me a crumb of bread. What he's saying, there is no begging. Even in the Lord's Prayer, it is being stated as a command. And remember, so is above, so is below. Everything, the kingdom of heaven truly is within you. The power that you hold is within your own body and in your own DNA. And I'm going to show you something really miraculous in the middle of this video that talks about that DNA and how astounding that is. But we're going to give this just a little bit more time. I want a little bit more of this to play out, and then we're going to get to the DNA. And it is unbelievably astonishing, and what we picked up doing our QHHT sessions, that's what gives me goosebumps and the reason to get up every day. Let's go.
So you command it. I command healing over my life. I command my flight to my next destination to be a safe flight, and I arrive on time and safely. I command that I get this house or this car that I need. I command that this opportunity work out in my favor. I command that there's things work out for my children. I command it. I'm not begging and hoping and wishing and dropping on my knees and crying and snot crying coming out of my face and all this and throwing all this money in the donation plate. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that, because that's low frequency. Low power. Low power equals no power.
All right. So he is correct. That's the other thing that Dolores Cannon talks about often. And when we are in order to be in a low frequency, you can feel that that's what your emotions are. Your emotions are your compass. So the emotions, if you're feeling sad, lonely, frustrated, angry, these are all low frequency vibrations. Like Nikola Tesla said, vibration, energy, and frequency. That is the keys to the universe. They've been talking about the keys to the universe since ancient times. And Billy Carson is trying to also convey this to you. When you are begging for that thing to change, for this person to do different, when you are projecting out the negative energy, you are creating more negativity for yourself. So everything you put out into the universe, you truly are receiving back. So if you are going to put out a negative frequency, you're going to receive back the negative frequency. What he wants you to do is start considering walking away, or basically not acknowledging anything that is negative. Because going into a positive mindset, an emotional mindset that's all positive, love-based, will break apart those resistant energies to allow that desired thing to come to you. So let's go a little bit further.
If I connect the EEG to your skull and plug it into a computer and tell you to give me your best prayer, the way you were taught and raised, the EEG is going to tell me your frequency. Real science, it's going to tell me low frequency, low. Then I tell you to jump up and down and get excited and say, I command this to happen. I'm going to see high frequency on the same computer. Your frequency is going to shift into a high power, high energy frequency. Why is that? Because the begging, hoping, and wishing of these exterior deities, of these fake gods that don't exist, the ones that you believe in, they don't exist. There is a creator of this universe, but not the one you've been taught about. Not the one you've been forced to believe in. And so because of that, your prayers fall on deaf ears to the universe. Now, when you understand this, and when you understand that when you hear voices in your head, that those voices, when they morph from the sound of this man speaking, yes, my son, yes, my daughter, do this and do that, when that voice starts to change, and then it begins to morph and becomes your own voice, and you begin to hear your own voice in your head talking to you, that's when you know you've made it to another level. Because that's when you begin to realize that you are God and God is you. And it's you talking to yourself from a higher dimension. That's when you got to the next level. And that's when you realize the power that's in every single cell and every single atom in your entire body. And that's when, and only then, can you truly manifest the true future that you truly desire.
All right, so now we're going to be moving along with Billy Carson in his Egyptian Mystery School. He has some things he needed to say here that sort of ties into that very beginning introductory video that he did for you. Remember that the ancients for millennia have been talking about the power, the heaven. Heaven is within you. God is within you. So if you want to expand, you must go within. And he talks about specifics on how to do this. But it's interesting how he gets there. And we're going to review this and match it up to what I've learned as a QHHT practitioner. Here we go.
They're trying to bend the elements to their will. They're trying to change their reality tunnel. But the method that they're using is flawed. That method is a method of begging and a method of hoping and wishing and everything else. All those are low frequency thought concepts. And
he's talking about, again, just sort of repeating what he said earlier. When you are praying from a position of fear, begging, hoping, get very far, okay? And he's trying to help people understand that it's okay to claim your own sovereignty, recognize that you are a fractal of God's source energy, and that you are powerful because this is how God created you. It's not playing into the narcissistic you. If you are in service to self, then your frequency is low. If you are in service to others, your frequency is high. That's the difference between understanding what he's saying through narcissistic eyes versus service to others. So a lot of what he's saying can actually be conveyed, oh my gosh, this guy's so narcissistic. But the difference is he is not in service to self. Now, he's created a world that he wants. There's nothing wrong in having or creating a lot of money for yourself. That's okay. Money is not evil. It's the love of money that can, quote, morph into evil. So having abundance and having prosperity is where God would love for you to be, is to enjoy the abundance and prosperity. But when you love money and not love the enjoyment of serving others, that is the separation. So I know it can come across that sometimes he's talking so, what do I want to say? He's very emphatic. Like sometimes he feels like he's hitting you over the head, but I think it comes from a level of a little bit of frustration, because no matter how much he talks about it, he still gets the same questions asked every time. So I do understand, Stan, kind of that tension that you kind of sense in these videos with him. But at the same time, don't discount that, because the message is beautiful. So you have to think of it when you are prosperous, when you are abundant. This goes way beyond money. What you can do to help others, to encourage others, to inspire others, to make others' lives a little bit better, a little bit less painful, that is the message you need to take away from this. Once you know that you have the power not only to make your life better, but how good does it feel to you to know that by your example, you are also creating a better life for those that you care and love. So let's continue.
Those low frequencies have no power. None. That's why you can have trillions of prayers going up every day, and the state of the world will never continue to...
Prayers from a position of fear have no power. They will not take you where you want to go. You have to get yourself out of a fear and come from a place of love for prayer.
To become any better. The state of the world will decrease, not increase, just because of the lack of knowledge of how to pray. The intentions are good, but the technique is flawed. You can have all the intentions you want to get an A on a test and still not pass the test. A lot of people go to real estate school, and then they go to real estate school to take a real estate exam, and then they really want this real estate license, but they fail the test. They had all the intentions right, didn't they? They went to class every day, they did all the studying, they stayed there for hours and hours every single night. I gotta pass this test because my life is gonna change when I get this real estate license. And then they fail the test. Happens to a lot of real estate agents. A lot of them fail the test the first time, sometimes twice. But all the intentions are there. Same thing with prayer. All the intentions could be, you really want to get this person, out of a situation. You really want your son to get better. You really want this car payment made, or whatever the case may be. Whatever you're trying to achieve. But if you don't know the right techniques, not going to happen. In order to really manifest reality using these principles, you have to understand quantum entanglement and understand that your brain literally has the capability, or these synapses in your brain have the capability of quantum entangling with the universal consciousness, which enable the law of attraction to work in your favor, and things that you were trying to manifest end up falling toward you. And a lot of things will come toward you, not the direct thing that you need to get or you're trying to manifest, but the link to getting that. And that's where intuition has to come in play, because you need to have the intuition to understand that this opportunity will give me the ability to link up with the true manifestation of what I'm trying to achieve. And if I don't jump through this door or this window, that's never going to happen over there. That's a skill and technique that you have to learn how to develop over many years. And fortunately, I've been pretty good at it. Am I 100%? No. Then I would be an ascended master and I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
All right. So, he's going from a position, he grew up really poor, and he had a lot to overcome growing up. So, and most of you do. I mean, let's face it, most of us have had trauma in our lives that have created all kinds of things. It's created energetic heart walls, hidden heart walls. It's also generated negative mindsets, what we call despair anchors. And when you are dealing with a lot of trapped emotional energy, one way you can supercharge that and get through the bulk of it is clearing away the trapped emotional energy. And I've talked to you about this before in prior videos, but if you need help removing trapped emotional energy, just reach out to me at sallyknop.com. And we can clear the bulk of the energy out pretty quick. Doesn't take very long, 20 minutes. I think it's $25 for 20 minutes. It's not that big a deal. But once you clear those energies out, you'll clear up the torsion field. So, and he talks about this in other videos, that our bodies are like torsion fields. So that means that energy is like this ball that comes around, and then the energy flows through our body and then out again. And trapped emotional energy, trauma energy, ancestral energy, past life energy, that can all get mangled up in our torsion field and distort the electromagnetic flow. And what you can do is go through and clear those energies yourself if you like, because I do give tips on my website on how to do that. Or you can just reach out to me or somebody like me. It doesn't have to be me. But just know that you don't have to start this journey by first going through the long years of trying to clear trapped emotional energy. You can do it pretty quickly yourself, or you can reach out to me or somebody like me and get those cleared up so you can begin to get an easier connection, so you can begin to start manifesting a lot more positive life. So again, that's sort of where he's at there. So let's continue on.
But I've done pretty good, at least in the areas I felt are important. I've done pretty good. There are some areas where I'm still lacking. I'm still learning, just like every single person in here. If somebody tells you that they got it all figured out, they're making that up too. Nobody in here has got it all figured out. We're all in the process of learning and trying to excel. There's people in this room that are more adept in different areas of their life that I'm not as adept as them. They're way more advanced than me in certain areas of their life. And there's people in here that I may be more adept at other things that they aren't, it's a balance. Everybody's got something to bring to the table. I promote the unification of the entire planet. I will expose untruths. I will expose oppression and suppression. I will expose the fact that the playing field isn't level in certain areas and we need to bring that playing field up. I will expose police brutality and all these other things. But at the same time, the ultimate goal is to get people to understand that once we stop fighting each other, then we can really fight the real enemy. We're spending too much time with all of this, not only within our race, even outside of our race. This is all we got going on. Politics, religion, all this other crazy stuff. And then the real enemy, which is only 100 families that run the entire planet, they control 7.5 billion people, and they're sitting.
All right, so he's getting a little off track there, and I go squirrel moments too. But basically what he's saying in this part, don't get hung up in what's going on out in the world right now. If you truly want to make a paradigm shift, start focusing on what you can do to help yourself feel better. Because as you are feeling better, remember, emotions are your guidepost, your guidance compass, if you will. When your emotions are happy and you're relaxed, you're manifesting more positive things. But when you're negative, when you're fearful, you're going to manifest everything that's fearful. So I'm going to skip along, and again, you're going to be able to see this for yourself. I'm going to put it about right there. I'll leave the link in the description box below so you can look at this full video and catch up the places I missed. But I'm just trying to highlight for you in a more simplistic form from a QHHT perspective what works and what you can do. So let's get this started here.
You see them trying to elevate and then fall. You can't let that deter you. You can't let that make you angry or feel like they're a failure or you're a failure or the message didn't get through. There's a process to learning how to run.
All right, so this next area that we're going to engage in, when you begin to manifest positively, because remember, we're all manifesting 100% of the time. So it's depending on what we're putting out. If your life is a train wreck, it's because you're manifesting as a train wreck. So if you want to do better and change, then sometimes it's going to be a process. You cannot take a steak and eat it in one bite, as Dolores Cannon says. You need to take a small bite, chew it up, enjoy it. So you want to start small. You want to start with, and I always tell everybody this, I say it all the time in every video. Go to my website, sallyknapp.com. On the homepage, there's a short video, 3 minutes, where you're dissolving a cloud. If you start dissolving clouds, now you know on a visceral level that your thoughts, your attention and intention can affect matter. Once you know this on a visceral level, you'll be more careful about what you're thinking about, what you're feeling. Remember, first comes the thought, then comes the emotion. The emotion is the jet fuel for the thought. And the more you dwell on that, positive or negative, is what you will receive back in physical form. Now, he's talking about this here. So you have to start small. You're not going to be able to go out like I did if you're new to dissolving clouds and dissolve a great big cloud like I dissolved, showing on a video live. But you can get a little tiny cloud, and maybe you will work on that little tiny cloud for a little bit and nothing happens. But if you stay with it, if you give yourself permission, I give myself permission to dissolve this cloud. Through the power and authority of God, I command the cloud dissolve now. And that cloud dissolves, now you know. Even though it was so small, even though what he's talking about, you got to build the muscle. It will come faster and faster and faster. The more you understand of who you are, the more you reconnect with the spiritual person that you are in physical form. Once you understand that you are a fractal of God source energy, that you can command the universe, that you and God are co-creating an experience, your world changes. Your world changes. But don't go out expecting massive change at once. You've got to understand you can do it. Your subconscious mind, as a QHHT practitioner would tell you, your subconscious mind has to accept the fact that you are powerful. And the only way, in most cases, is that you need to take a little bit at a time. Take the bite of that steak. Nourish it. Allow it to fill you up. And then take bigger bites as you go. He describes it here. And then we'll wrap it up.
And that process starts with crawling, and then walking and falling, and then eventually walking, and then eventually trotting and falling, and then eventually running and then falling, and then eventually you become an Olympic athlete. There's a process to this, and that's the same thing if you apply as above, so below, just to that allegory, you're going to find out it's the same thing in life, in real experience in real life. So you have to understand that. That's how it's going to operate. That's how it's going to maneuver. It's going to be a process. And the best thing that I've found so far for me is now I've been able to level my physiology off. My physiology doesn't really change. And I used to get, somebody would make a negative comment or say something negative or send me a negative message or whatever. It used to make me palpitate for a second and get a little frustrated. Sometimes I used to respond back. Now
Yeah, don't engage in any of that. And if you are engaging in that, it's time to clear your trapped emotional energies, because all that negative response, buddy, is, when they're doing stuff like that, when they're calling you names or when they're reaching out and saying you didn't do this or you don't do it this way, you don't think like I think, so therefore you're wrong. All that are wounds within themselves that need to be healed. So don't engage in any of that. That's a low vibrational frequency, and that will draw you away from manifesting a positive life. So listen to him when he says that. It's very true.
I realized, why am I responding to this archon? Because once you respond, you just gave them your power. They just siphoned you. They just ate energy from your body. They literally ate it. They utilized it because how? You transmitted the energy into a device, which then traveled at the speed of light into their device, which then became a photon that bounced on their retina, that they sent to the back of their brain and downloaded, and got a very extremely happy feeling from it. That's how they ate your energy. You understand? They're eating your energy. That's what's happening out there. So when I realized that, I said, wow, don't respond.
So that's really critical right there. So that's very true. When you are engaging in negative conversation with somebody and trying to defend yourself, or, defend your position or whatever in this day and age, even your candidates out there, what you're doing is engaging in a negative place. And every time that you feel negative energy, you're increasing that in the quantum field. You're increasing that with them. And truly, if we're going to escape the dark ages, we all have to go through this, quote, awakening and shift, that the new earth that Dolores Cannon talks about. And it is shifting ourselves from that negative engagement, those negative thoughts and emotions. You do not have to engage in that. You are powerful. You are superhuman. You can sit there and say, you know what, not my monkey, not my circus. Apparently, one, you're never going to change their mind, so why even try? So just know that they cannot affect you. So not my monkey, not my circus. And then just take in those deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Have those calming effects to calm down that autonomic nervous system so that you are not wound up in a negative way. Because truly, they're taking in their information in the way they understand, that they think they're doing what's right for the humanity or whatever. Just let it go. Because remember, in the quantum field, in the quantum world, there's these quantum bubbles, and their reality is never going to be your reality. Your reality, your earth, is very different. And so at times you might come together and agree, and sometimes you might come apart. These are just the little bubbles that sort of come together and go in and come out and separate. It is not worth it. I promise you, the day you take your last breath, it is not going to matter. That kerfuffling going on, the only thing that's going to matter is what relationships did you create. Few people remember what you say, but everybody remembers how you made them feel. And so when he talks about it, he goes through it pretty quick. But he's got the receipts for the scientific studies on how every thought and emotion sends like a photon wave out. And it is registered. So be very mindful about what you're thinking and feeling. People do pick it up. That's how those curse energies come across. If you've ever cut somebody off in traffic and they've thrown the bird at you and yelled at you, that's a curse energy. And that gets stuck in your field. And you have to go and you have to clear that too. I'm not going to, get into this entire video. It is quite long. And you can click on the link below in the description box to watch the whole thing without interruption. But what he starts to dive into is how important it is, in order for manifesting a positive life, is to stay calm. One, the more calm you are in any situation, the quicker positive manifestations can come through. Stay out of anything fear-based. Don't engage in fear-based. Anything that's fear-based is not prayer. Remember, if you are praying from a place of fear, like if I don't say this prayer or do this ritual or otherwise I'm going to go to hell in a handbasket, you're coming from a place of fear. It is so important that you come from a place of love, come from a place of appreciation, come from a place of service to others. In that space, your frequency, your emotions are higher. And because they're higher, then that veil that you think is there that's separating you from God will go away. Because there's nothing separating you from God, because God is already in you. What you can do is choose to think and feel negatively. And when you choose to pray from a position of fear, God, please, if you feel I'm worthy, please, give me this thing. Stop that, because you and God are one, and you are co-creating this experience. Be in appreciation and love God. Love God with all your mind, with all your heart. That will lift you up this universe isn't about a gaming system. If you're somebody who wants to game the situation, this video is not for you. That's not what this is intended. It's about lifting you up so you come from a position of love that you begin to, honestly, I'm going to say it right up front. This is why they say God is not mocked. You cannot game the system. You cannot fool anybody. If you are coming from a position of fear, hate, get back, or whatever, you are not going to achieve going into a positive realm because those are low vibrational emotions. So that's the long and short of it. Let me bring up for you the DNA because that's the cool part. Before I get to that, little tidbit in this video, it's about 15 minutes and 20 minutes into it, or 20 seconds into it. And he talks about a minute of anger is 40 days of sorrow. That is something to think about because negative energy can just really grab hold of you. You can stew in it. It might take some time to get over it. So yeah, think about how you can disengage from all that. Hold on. Let's get this other pulled up for you. All right. So we're going to be talking about the emerald tablets. Now, the emerald tablets, if you are not aware of that, those are very ancient tablets. I believe having its roots in ancient Egypt, which is why he does the Egyptian Mystery School. The part that is so interesting is just listen to it. I know he sort of digresses back, but if you want your prayers to work, if you want to change your life, what is in this message is important. And then he's going to be talking about the DNA. And of course, I've got my 2 cents to talk about that too. So here we go.
Low, from the largest scale to the smallest scale. If you look at the cover of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, you see that he's holding in his hand what? A Merkaba, a star tetrahedron. Okay, very interesting. One of the things, and he's got the representation of the flower of life in the top. This also,
and that's my question right there. The tetrahedron. How did these ancient people know about things that they could not? I mean, gosh, you're talking about people who didn't even have the wheel. And yet they had these complicated geometry that they understood. And then they understood about DNA. Here we go.
Goes into the Kabbalah in Jewish religion, this symbol. A lot of people that are of the Jewish faith don't really understand that it's not about the Star of David. They've lost the true meaning of this symbol. The symbol has nothing to do with David, nothing at all. This symbol has to do with something called a Metatron's cube, which we're going to talk about. So Hermes Trismegistus is one of the greatest speakers on this topic, master of all arts and sciences, perfect in all crafts, ruler of the 3 worlds, scribe of the gods, and keeper of the book of life. Thoth Hermes Trismegistus, the 3 times the greatest, the first intelligencer, was regarded by the ancient Egyptians as the embodiment of the universal mind, while in all probability, there actually existed a great sage and educator by the name of Hermes. It is impossible to extricate the historical man from the mass of legendary accounts which attempt to basically discredit him. But the man was real. In my opinion, he was a real person. He's been everywhere. Many people have seen him. So that's from Manly P. Hall. So Hermes states that his knowledge of these 3 parts, and the reason why he basically received the name Trismegistus, or thrice great, which translates into Aho, 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 which means the greatest. As the story is told, the Emerald Tablets was found by Alexander the Great at Hebron in the tomb of Hermes, and this is an important reason why I'm bringing this up. But in this tomb, by the way, well, a lot of people always go, well, where's these people at? The people from the Bible that died, they're in these tombs here. Not all of them, but a lot of them are actually in this tomb at Hebron. And Hermes' last avatar body as Hermes was put there as well. So let me get into this creation according to Thoth, because this is going to take us into the Merkaba. In the creation myth, we are introduced to astrology and the influence of the planets upon man, from which man is expected to rise above. We have dualism, a God of the heavens and one who's created on earth. We see the idea of man as a son or part of God. We have man being given the power of creation, You create your own reality. The idea that man has a dual nature, one in heaven, non-material, soul, spirit, and one physical in the world of matter, the body, and fall, leaving heaven to earth to be with nature. So if you think of this allegory as consciousness saying, I want to see what it's like to be a three-dimensional hominid. Let me send down my spirit energy and inhabit an avatar body. Creation according to Hermes. In the beginning, Noahs, which was also known as God, created a second Noahs, these are circles or spheres, who becomes a craftsman and creates the world. Noahs too creates 7 powers in 7 spheres around what will become the earth. The spheres have control over what will be the earth. They control what we know of as destiny. The 7 spheres are the moon, sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Here is the beginning of astrology. Noahs too sets spheres in motion, and life begins on earth. This is the allegorical reference to the seed of life, which we're looking at right here, where we have these 7 intersecting circles around the 6 intersecting circles, around the 7th circle, which create this pattern in life that basically is at the base of everybody's spine right now. From the moment that you were born, through the process of mitosis, these 7 cells formed in the base of your spine. They form this actual geometric figure, and they're actually still there. They never leave. They're still there in the base of your spine right now. Life is based off of geometry. This is a cross-section of DNA, and you can see here, this is really amazing because you see the sacred geometry in your DNA. It's built into you. So you have the beginnings of the Merkaba technology already built into your body. This is the flower of life at the Osirian in Abydos. I was telling some of the folks here earlier that, one of my trips to Egypt, the main reason why I went that time was to go to Abydos, and I almost didn't get there because they only fly on certain days when they have enough people. If they don't have enough people to go, they cancel the flight. It happens often. This particular time, they needed like 2 or 3 more people, and this one person I met on a Nile cruise was like, I'll book it, and he booked it, and they turned the flight back on, and we went out there. So I had a chance to go to this Abydos, and also outside of Abydos, right behind it, is the Osirian temple. And at the Osirian temple, what do we have here? We have the flower of life, atomically burned into the structure of this pillar here. I'm talking to God now, the Father.
All right, so he goes into how he talks to Source, God, Source Energy, God, or a proper way of prayer. Again, if you want to watch that, you would need to go ahead and click on the link below, and you will see it at 21 minutes and 29 seconds. Now, I'm going to give you my take on the best way to do that, and I think it'll work. It will work beautifully. My clients come back with me all the time and they say, oh, it's so great. So let's get into it. So all you need to do is get yourself into a really comfortable place. Take in those deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose and hold. And then exit through the mouth. Do this 3 times. Allow the nervous system to calm down. And then you can repeat after me. Through the power and authority of God, I command all sources causing unhappy harmony, get out, get out, get out now. Through the power and authority of God, I command for myself all sources causing unhappy harmony, get out, get out, get out now. Through the power and authority of God, I command for myself all sources causing unhappy harmony, get out, get out, get out now. Lord, bring your healing presence upon my harmony now. Fill my harmony with God's divine love, peacefulness, joyfulness, happiness, now, now, now. I receive God's divine love, peacefulness and joy, and happy harmony, now, now, now. Now there's one more. Stay with me. The next step is this. Through the power and authority of God, I command for myself all sources causing unhappy mind. Get out, get out, get out now. All sources causing unhappy mind, get out, get out, get out now. Through the power and authority of God, I command for myself all sources causing unhappy mind, get out, get out, get out now. Lord, bring your healing presence upon my mind. Fill my mind with God's divine love, happiness and joy, and peacefulness. Now, now, now. I receive God's divine healing, happiness and joy upon my mind, now, now, now. Now, sometimes you need to repeat that 2 or 3 times, but notice how your body begins to feel afterwards. Notice the next day. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more peaceful? The other thing you need to watch for, because you are going through a process of self-healing. Sometime between now and up to 10 days later, you might find you need a nap really bad. Like if you don't stop and lay down right now, you're going to drop it. You know that you are going through the process of aligning your energy for healing and prosperity. Now we're going to get into more abundance and prosperity, but this at least will get you started. Now, there can be a lot of other stuff going on too. So if you try this and it doesn't work, it's okay. It just means we need to dig a little deeper. And for that, just reach out to sallyknopp.com and take a look at sessions offered to see if there's something there that might fit for you. You can reach out and we can get going on a one-on-one. Anyway, I hope you found this video to be very helpful, and I hope that you will subscribe for more future videos where I am going to give you tips to improve your life that you can try at home to start igniting the superhuman in you. Thanks for watching.